Most people think guns are just tools, but a small group of collectors knows something the rest of America doesn't. Certain firearms don't just hold value, they explode in value. Some models jump 300% in 5 years. Not the famous ones, not the ones everyone's already buying, the ones nobody's paying attention to yet. That's where the real money hides. In 2026, 10 specific guns are sitting right at that tipping point, before the market catches on, before the prices go insane. This video will show you exactly which ones they are and why the window to act is closing faster than most people think. Number 10. The Springfield Armory M1A Scout Squad. The M1A platform has been the civilian version of the legendary M14 service rifle since the 1970s. But the Scout Squad variant, introduced in the early 2000s, represents something special in the Springfield Armory lineup. This 18-inch barrel configuration bridges the gap between the full-size M1A and the compact SOCOM models. Springfield Armory's manufacturing costs have increased dramatically over the past 3 years. Raw materials, skilled labor, and regulatory compliance have pushed production expenses through the roof. Industry insiders are whispering about potential price increases of 20 to 30% across the entire M1A line by late 2026. The Scout Squad model specifically uses a proprietary muzzle brake designed to tame the 18-inch barrel's recoil and features unique iron sight configurations that make it distinct from other M1A variants. Springfield has indicated they're evaluating their product line for streamlining, which typically means discontinuing slower-moving models to focus on volume sellers. Current retail pricing sits around $2,000 for a standard Scout Squad. But here's the opportunity. Gun shops across the Midwest and South still have old inventory from 2022 and 2023 sitting on their shelves. These can often be found for $1,500 to $1,700 if you know where to look. The M14 platform itself carries significant historical weight. Military collectors who focus on the Vietnam era increasingly view the M1A as the closest they can get to owning an authentic piece of that conflict. As Vietnam veterans age and their collections enter estate sales, demand from younger collectors looking to own a piece of that history continues to grow. The investment thesis here is straightforward. Limited production numbers, increasing manufacturing costs, and steady collector demand create a perfect appreciation scenario. Conservative estimates suggest these will trade for $2,500 to $3,000 by early 2027. Number 9. The Ruger Mini 14 Ranch Rifle in original configuration. Most people think of the Mini 14 as that ranch gun from the 1970s and 80s. What they don't realize is that Ruger has made significant changes to the platform over the decades, and the original configuration models are becoming increasingly scarce. The pre-2005 Mini 14s used a different gas system and distinctive wooden stocks that Ruger no longer manufactures. The early 180 series models from 1974 and the specific ranch rifle variants introduced in 1982 represent the purest expression of Bill Ruger's early design philosophy before modern production shifts. Here's why 2026 is the inflection point. Ruger announced in late 2023 that they're transitioning more of their production to polymer stocks and modern manufacturing techniques. The traditional wood stock Mini 14 is becoming a smaller portion of their production each year. Industry publications suggest Ruger may phase out wood stock options entirely by 2027 to reduce manufacturing complexity. Original configuration ranch rifles from the 80s and early 90s are trading for $800 to $1,200 in good condition. But estate sale hunters are finding them for $400 to $600 when families don't recognize their value. A recent auction in Nebraska saw a 1987 ranch rifle sell for $350 because it was listed simply as Old Ruger Rifle. The collector appeal goes beyond just scarcity. The Mini 14 occupies a unique position in American firearms history as the civilian version of the M14, but designed specifically for ranch and sporting use. It bridges military heritage with practical civilian application in a way few other rifles achieve. Television and movie appearances have cemented the Mini 14's place in popular culture. From the A-Team to countless action films of the 80s, the distinctive look of the Mini 14 is instantly recognizable to multiple generations of Americans. Market analysis suggests original configuration. Mini 14s will trade for $1,500 to $2,000 by 2027, representing a potential 100% return for savvy collectors who act now. Number 8. The Smith Wesson Model 29 Classic in .44 Magnum. Dirty Harry made the Model 29 famous in 1971, but the Classic series that Smith & Wesson produced from 1990 to 1999 represents the pinnacle of their large-frame revolver manufacturing. The Classic featured a full underlug barrel, adjustable white outline rear sight, and the distinctive red ramp front sight that made it instantly recognizable. Smith & Wesson effectively ceased standard production of the Classic in 1999, transitioning instead to limited performance center runs. Since then, they've produced special editions, but nothing that matches the consistent, widespread quality and features of the original 1990s Classic series. The firearms market has seen a massive resurgence in revolver interest over the past 3 years. New shooters who started with polymer pistols are discovering the appeal of well-made revolvers, and many are gravitating toward the classics that defined the category. The Model 29 sits at the top of that hierarchy. Current pricing for Model 29 Classics in excellent condition ranges from $1,200 to $1,800, depending on barrel length and specific variant. But the sweet spot for investors lies in the 6.5-inch barrel models that were the most popular configuration during the Classic production run. Manufacturing quality during the Classic era was exceptional. Smith & Wesson was still doing much of their finishing work by hand, and the attention to detail shows in every aspect of these revolvers. The internal lock system that many collectors dislike wasn't introduced until after the Classic series ended, making these the last of the traditional Model 29s. Hollywood continues to drive interest in the Model 29. Every few years, another movie or television show features the iconic revolver, introducing it to new audiences. The recent resurgence in Western films and crime dramas keeps the Model 29 in the public consciousness in ways that benefit collector values. Estate sales represent the biggest opportunity for finding underpriced Model 29 classics. Many families inherited these from relatives who bought them new in the 90s and early 2000s. Without understanding the collector market, they often sell for well below current market value. Investment projections for Model 29 Classics suggest they'll reach $2,200 to $2,800 by 2027, driven by continued production cessation and growing collector recognition. Number 7. The Colt Python from the 1970s era. The Colt Python is widely regarded as the finest production revolver ever manufactured in America. While Colt resumed Python production in 2020, the original guns from the 1960s through the early 2000s represent a completely different level of craftsmanship that modern production cannot match. The 1970s Pythons occupy a sweet spot in the collector market. They lack the premium pricing of the earliest 60s models, but they retain the hand-fitted quality that made the Python legendary. Each revolver required over 8 hours of hand-fitting and finishing by master craftsmen in Colt's Hartford, Connecticut factory. Colt's financial troubles in the 90s and early 2000s led to corners being cut in Python production. The 70s models represent the last era where cost wasn't the primary consideration in manufacturing. Every Python from this period received the full traditional treatment that built Colt's reputation. Current market pricing for 70s Pythons ranges from $2,500 to $4,000 depending on condition and barrel length. The 4-inch and 6-inch models command the highest prices, but the 2.5-inch and 8-inch variants often represent better value propositions for investors. The key to Python investing lies in understanding condition grades. A Python in 95% condition might sell for $3,000, while the same gun in 98% condition could bring $5,000. The difference often comes down to subtle details like the condition of the original blue finish and the crispness of the Colt markings. Authentication is crucial in the Python market. The combination of high values and strong demand has led to refinishing operations that can make 80s or 90s Pythons appear to be from earlier eras. Original factory documentation, when available, adds significant premium to any Python's value. The Python's reputation extends far beyond firearms enthusiasts. It's recognized as a pinnacle of American manufacturing excellence, similar to how classic muscle cars or vintage watches are viewed. This crossover appeal brings buyers from outside the traditional firearms market, supporting higher values. Market analysis indicates 70s Pythons will reach $4,000 to $6,000 by 2027, with exceptional examples potentially exceeding $8,000. The combination of finite supply, growing recognition, and crossover collecting interest creates ideal conditions for appreciation. Number 6. The Winchester Model 70 Pre-64 in classic calibers. The Winchester Model 70 earned the nickname the Rifleman's Rifle. When Winchester changed the design in 1964 to reduce manufacturing costs, they created two distinct categories in the collector market. Pre-64 models feature the original 1936 controlled round feed action, including a fixed ejector, large claw extractor, and three-position safety that collectors fundamentally prefer over later push-feed designs. Classic calibers like 30-06, 270 Winchester, and 300 H&H Magnum represent the most sought-after combinations. Winchester produced just under 582,000 pre-64 Model 70s between 1936 and 1963. Because many were heavily used hunting rifles, finding examples in collector-grade condition becomes more challenging every year. Current pricing in good condition starts around $1,500. The investment opportunity lies in understanding which specific variations command premium pricing. Featherweight models, super-grade rifles, and rare calibers like .358 Winchester or .335 Remington can bring 5 to 10 times the price of standard models. Estate sales continue to be the best source for undervalued pre-64s. Many are passed down through families who don't realize the specific factors that determine market pricing. Authentication expertise is essential. Understanding running production changes and serial numbers can mean the difference between a $1,000 and a $5,000 rifle. Market projections suggest classic caliber pre-64 model 70s will appreciate to $2,500 to $4,000 for standard models by 2027. Rare variants will reach much higher valuations as modern appreciation grows for the craftsmanship of classic American hunting rifles. Number 5. The Browning BAR, in early Belgian manufacture. The Browning automatic rifle represents John Browning's last rifle design. Introduced in 1967, the early Belgian manufactured versions from the FN factory in Herstal represent the pinnacle of semi-automatic hunting rifle production. Belgian FN manufacturing from 1967 through the early 1980s featured hand-fitted parts and finishing that exceeded anything produced in later Japanese or Portuguese factories. The attention to detail included hand checkering, precise barrel bedding, and internal tolerances that modern mass production cannot economically match. While later rifles function reliably, they lack the exact craftsmanship that makes the Belgian guns special. These early BARs were available in classic American hunting calibers. Current market pricing for standard Grade 1 models ranges from $1,200 to $2,000. However, the highly sought-after Grade 2 and Grade 3 models, featuring gold-inlaid animals and intricate hand engraving from the FN Custom Shop, can bring $5,000 to $8,000, with exceptional examples exceeding $10,000 at specialized auctions. It remains the only widely successful semi-automatic hunting rifle that achieved broad acceptance among American hunters. Furthermore, Belgium's FN factory has a legendary reputation. Anything marked "Made in Belgium" by FN commands immediate respect in collector circles. As the market shifts toward tactical-style rifles, classic semi-automatics are somewhat overlooked, creating a prime opportunity. Estate sales and rural gun shops remain the best sources for finding undervalued Belgian BARs. Market analysis suggests standard models will reach $2,500 to $3,000 by 2027, with high-grade examples potentially doubling in value. Number 4. The Remington Model 700 BDL in original 1962 to 1988 configuration. The Remington Model 700 became America's most popular bolt-action rifle, but early BDL models from 1962 through 1988 featured manufacturing details and quality control eliminated in later cost-cutting measures. These rifles used a different steel specification for superior accuracy potential, with more precise machine work and higher standards before 1990s corporate ownership changes. The BDL package included special features: a hinged floor plate with engraved logo, skip line checkering on American walnut stocks, white line spacers, and a distinctive black fore-end tip. These details created a premium hunting rifle representing the original vision for the Model 700 before 1988's cost-reduced manufacturing processes. Current pricing for early BDLs in good condition ranges from $600 to $1,200. Classic hunting calibers command the highest prices, but less common chamberings offer better value propositions. The key to investing lies in understanding premium features, like 1970s models with the original trigger systems or specific years with superior wood quality. Remington's 2020 bankruptcy created uncertainty, leading collectors to acquire original configuration rifles while parts and expertise remain available. While the shooting sports market has evolved toward modern chassis systems, there is growing appreciation for classic hunting rifles representing American manufacturing heritage. Rural gun shops and estate sales offer opportunities for finding undervalued early BDLs that retain their original quality. Market projections suggest these rifles will appreciate to $1,500 to $2,200 by 2027, driven by growing recognition of their superior quality compared to modern production. Number 3. The Ruger, number 1 in rare calibers from early production. Bill Ruger's decision to resurrect the single-shot rifle concept in 1967 proved that American shooters still appreciated the elegance and accuracy potential of a well-designed single-shot rifle. Early production, Ruger No. 1. Rifles from the late 1960s and 1970s featured hand-fitted actions and higher quality control standards. These initial manufacturing runs were essentially custom rifles built to prove the design's viability, resulting in exceptional fit and finish. The rare calibers represent the most significant investment opportunity. Ruger's practice of offering and discontinuing calibers based on market demand created artificial scarcity. While common calibers bring $1,200 to $1,800, rare, short-lived exotic chamberings like 404 Jeffrey or 416 Rigby can command $4,000 to $6,000 for rifles in excellent condition. The No. 1's aesthetic design, featuring an Alexander Henry-style forearm, attracts collectors who appreciate distinctive elements. Furthermore, the Ruger No. 1 in African calibers serves the growing international safari rifle market, offering American manufacturing quality at prices below comparable European rifles. Estate sales remain primary sources, as many appear in unfired or lightly used condition. Authentication is crucial for investment purposes because some rifles have been rechambered, and original factory chambering adds significant value over custom work. Market analysis indicates rare caliber Ruger No. 1 rifles will appreciate to $6,000 to $10,000 for the most desirable chamberings by 2027, driven by continued production limitations and growing collector recognition of early production quality. Number 2. The Colt AR-15 SP1 from the 1963 to 1977 Monopoly era. The Colt SP1 represents the first commercially successful semi-automatic version of Eugene Stoner's revolutionary AR-15 design. These early civilian versions established the foundation for what would become America's most popular rifle platform. Early SP1 rifles featured manufacturing details that distinguished them from all later AR-15 production, including unique receiver markings and components manufactured to military specifications. These rifles were essentially military M16s modified for civilian semi-automatic operation. While Colt continued SP1 production until 1984, their exclusive 14-year licensing agreement meant they were the only manufacturer legally producing civilian AR-15s. This monopoly ended when original patents expired in 1977, making those early, pre-1977 SP1 rifles uniquely valuable artifacts with natural scarcity. Current pricing for SP1 rifles in good condition ranges from $3,000 to $6,000, with early low serial number examples selling for over $10,000. Their historical significance, representing the civilian introduction of the military's standard infantry weapon, attracts collectors from outside traditional gun collecting circles. Authentication expertise is crucial, as high values have led to rifles being modified to appear as earlier production. Finding undervalued examples at estate sales requires understanding the specific manufacturing details that identify authentic early SP1 rifles. Market projections suggest standard SP1 rifles will reach $6,000 to $12,000 by 2027, with exceptional early production rifles potentially reaching $20,000. The combination of limited production, historical significance, and a political climate that adds appeal to pre-ban examples creates ideal conditions for continued appreciation. Number 1. The original Colt single-action Army from 1873 to 1940. The Colt single-action Army is the most iconic handgun in American history. These first-generation Colts feature hand-fitted craftsmanship that subsequent generations simply cannot match. While the 67-year production run created approximately 360,000 revolvers, high-condition examples are increasingly rare due to hard lives on the frontier and in military service. Configuration dictates value. The classic .45 Colt in a 7.5-inch barrel is widely collected, but rare calibers like .44-40 or .38-40 in short barrel lengths command premium pricing. Current prices range from $8,000 for common models to over $100,000 for exceptional examples. Authentication and documentation are absolutely essential because high-grade examples double in value every 10 to 15 years. A factory letter confirming original configuration can mean the difference between a $10,000 gun and a $50,000 gun. Conservative projections suggest minimum values will reach $15,000 to $20,000 by 2027. Their finite supply and cultural significance create investment characteristics similar to fine art. For serious investors looking at the firearms market in 2026, these 10 models represent the best opportunities for significant appreciation. They combine limited supply, irreplicable manufacturing quality, and growing collector recognition. The key to success is understanding that condition, originality, and documentation trump all other factors. For those willing to develop this expertise, these firearms represent a genuine opportunity to build wealth through the ownership of authentic American heritage before the broader market recognizes their full potential.